Welcome to El Nido, a place that everyone who visits the Philippines has heard about.
This is the iconic Philippines. It's much more beautiful than I expected.
Yet besides the beautiful beaches and picturesque landscapes that most bloggers talk about, it's also known to be extremely commercialized and crowded.
I kinda get what you're talking about.
Where even walking in the street can at times be a challenge.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. And so our plan today is simple. We want to discover both the authentic and touristy side of this place and try to figure out if El Nido is actually worth visiting, or perhaps it's just another overrated tourist trap.
Sunscreen.
And first off, we're gonna do something that pretty much everybody who visits El Nido has on their schedule.
Yes, we're going from 0 to 100 in a second.
Yeah, it's called the Tour A, and it's supposed to showcase the most beautiful places that this region has to offer, but I'm pretty sure that it also shows the true colors of this location. Yeah, it doesn't really take long to understand that simply walking in El Nido is quite a stressful endeavor.
To be honest, the first impressions coming from Port Barton are quite shocking. There's just so much more happening. There's tens, if not hundreds times more people, more tuk-tuks, more noise.
So we just got to the tour place, and a little bit of a bad surprise. Although we made a booking yesterday through WhatsApp, they had forgotten us, and we see people running around trying to organize the tour that they forgot about. It's a little sad and a little funny at the same time. Half an hour later, and we are moving.
We started to parade towards the boat. Parade means that there's a big line of people going next to behind each other.
Well, and being guided to the port area during this time of the day was definitely an experience all by itself. There has to be at least 1,000 people on this beach, probably more. Everybody waiting for the boats, and then there's a lot of salesmen who sell water bags, and you also need to rent your own snorkel. Yet just as we started to make sense of the chaos, our whole group was suddenly pointed straight towards the sea. Getting to our boat was a much bigger challenge than we anticipated. Hell of a start to a tour. Oh, the waves are big. That's a big one. This is a big one. Liisu could barely keep her head above the water. And few people in our group were literally floated to the final destination by the guides. And then, after another 15 minutes of maneuvering the boat out of the busy port. And so our journey begins. The waves today are pretty big, and the cliffs that are just rising out of the water are so gorgeous. The raw natural beauty around us was like nothing we had seen before. Today, with a little bit of cloud coverage, they just create this mysterious feeling all around you, and it's such a beautiful way to travel, to explore. And as our boat glided between the giants, we started to realize what brings so many visitors here each year.
So it's gonna be our first destination, so which is we are here on Snorkeling area, but the name of this island we call the Simiso Island.
Our first stop was dedicated to discovering what hid below the waves. The coral here seemed healthy, and we would have wanted to spend a lot more time snorkeling, but there was something in the water that we simply were not ready for. Being completely honest, it was one of the roughest snorkels I've ever done, and it was because of the jellyfish. There was dozens of very small, you could hardly see them, and they would sting you. I don't think they're like the real dangerous ones, but I have like 10 little red dots on my body. Liisu, can you show your hand? So many little bee stings all around you. They're not as painful, probably like 3 times less painful as a bee sting, but still it hurts, and it's still hurting like 5 minutes later. Yet there's little jellyfish were almost like a reminder that around El Nido, the truly stunning sights stand above the waves. At times we could leave our boat behind and venture off by ourselves. I love how the watercolor just changed when we got to the shallow part.
But it's great that there are no big boats. It's only kayaks.
Yeah.
This is the iconic Philippines. What you see right behind me.
This here is called the Big Lagoon, a landform quite unique to this part of the world. However, entering it almost felt like we were visiting an ancient castle built in the middle of the Pacific. This is pretty cool. You know that you're still in the middle of the ocean, but it's surrounded with those rocky cliffs from all sides. And so there's no waves, just calm, beautiful.
Like in a way it's all expected because you've seen those shots on the internet. But on the other hand, it's still very, very, very beautiful. It's much more beautiful than I expected.
Surprisingly, the lagoon was beaming with life. In the lagoon there's coral, there's sea urchins, like it's a beautiful place for all the animals and plants as well. Can't believe that we're hearing birds here. But well, there's trees, it's safe, it's a wonderful place for them. In all honesty, just visiting this place here would have made the cost of the tour worth it, all by itself. Quiet, back corner of the lagoon. And for a minute now, we felt like we're the only people in the world. But of course, there was many more stops ahead. I can see why they told everybody to take water shoes. It's a heck of a journey to the beach. We visited small islands that allow you to get close and personal with the stunning rock formations. The rock that those cliffs are made of, it's extremely sharp. Like, you could cut meat on it pretty much.
And the place El Nido means the nest, because swiftlets make their nests in the mountains nearby, and these swiftlet nests are a delicacy in China.
Yeah, so before it became a tourist hub, it was a place for fishermen and also for like treasure seekers who would climb the limestone cliffs and pick the small swiftlet nests. But fortunately nowadays the whole ecosystem around here is protected, so the nests are not taken away from the swiftlets anymore. The only problem,
Please come closer here. 100 people. Estonia.
was that we constantly felt rushed by our tour guides. I can see why everybody comes here, especially when you get the drone up. The views, the colors of the ocean, it's stunning, just extremely stunning.
If something is very, very beautiful, then people are bound to find it.
But we'll see. Tomorrow we will do our best to show you part of El Nido that most tourists don't experience. Like the more quiet, more relaxed. We don't yet know if it even exists, but our goal tomorrow is to go and find it. Yet just as our boat arrived to the last stop of the tour, we also got to experience the negative side of such scheduled tours. You see, as we were dropped off on a beautiful beach, the weather suddenly changed. This is our life now, and it's like tropical downpour.
I'm so cold and I have nothing warm. There's just nowhere to be.
Oh!
There's nowhere to be.
With every minute the cold could be felt deeper and deeper in our bodies. Liisu is absolutely freezing, so I'm trying to warm her up somehow. But
The boat left for 45 minutes.
I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I just wanna go home.
Just wanna go home.
It was quite a sad example. What can happen if the tour companies focus more on what's written in the schedule and less about the actual situation? I did not expect this end to our tour.
I thought they were gonna cancel the end and just take us back to the port because it's like a tropical storm. It's really boring.
And they're bringing more people here.
And they're bringing more people here.
When we were finally picked up again, the situation didn't get much better. Ahead of us was a raging sea. And the rain seemed to be falling sideways, soaking everything and everyone on board. By the time we got back to town, Liisu had to fight hard to keep our spirits alive.
It could be worse. It could be worse. We had very beautiful places with really nice sun.
Now, let's get to our hotel room so it would be nice and warm.
And take a shower.
Yes,
You
warm
see,
shower.
there are so many beautiful things in the world.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That was a roller coaster. Recovering from our first day in El Nido took many hours in the warm hotel room. But little did we know that this town was much more than a chaos that we had so far experienced. Good morning. It's now our second day in El Nido and we just took our time. We had a lovely cup of coffee and relaxed because last night it was tiring. Hectic is a good word. But today we have a different plan. We're gonna stray away from the tours, from the masses, and we try to see if there's still like local life left in here and try to show you what else you can do here.
Because like the tours are cool, but I think most people do not want to be like rocking on a boat every day with a very tight schedule, taking you from place to place. And I think most people would like to relax, let loose, explore more independently, I would guess.
It did not take long to understand the first rule of El Nido. Walking those streets during the day, it's such a different feeling. Like yesterday you could hardly walk, there were so many people around. Now it's total calm. If you want to experience this town, then the best time to do it is while most of the visitors are out at sea, taking the tours. Okay, this is lovely to see. We're like a kilometer out of El Nido and there's actual real local markets here. It smells so good, like the citruses,
It smells
the
like
fruit.
citrus and fruit.
The markets around us were calm and vibrant.
Something smells fishy here.
Yet what made them memorable were the kind locals that greeted and smiled to us wherever we went. What I'm truly liking about this place is that although there's salespeople who offer you things like the taxi drivers and the guys who sell the wet bags, but they're not pushy. Like they're the same kind Filipino locals that we've seen in other places of this country, and you can't compare it to like certain countries in Middle East or India where salespeople are truly pushy, because here they offer and when you say no they accept your answer. So they're doing their thing, but they also let you do your thing. So thank you to all the Filipinos who know how to respect the visitors. However, a tropical holiday is not complete without the day on a beach. Being completely honest, I expected this place to be more like a paradise vibey. And to access those places, there are two main options. First of which,
I think this is the place where you take a kayak and
go to the real beach.
go to the real beach.
500, okay? Okay, perfect. Then we take.
Want to snorkel?
Snorkel? No.
And going to the beach here behind the rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first beach is the Lapus Lapus, Papaya, and Seven Commando.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. The ladies were super nice. I really enjoyed renting the kayak from here. They were happy to see us and like with okay, not the only people. There's a couple of locals as well who are going for a trip. It's much calmer here, and we're just hoping that we can get on the other side of the cliff. But there's a long way to go. We're trying to get far back there. Liisu is doing the heavy lifting. I'm just taking in the views. Look at the color of this water. It's gorgeous. And well, look at that. The journey to the other side of the cliff was quite a challenge. But the reward on the other side made it well worth it.
What makes this beach extremely cool is that it's not just sand and palm trees. It also has those huge cliffs surrounding the beach from all three sides. It's so freaking pretty.
What surrounded us felt like a paradise. Other kayakers had even packed picnics.
Being here sitting under a tree, it feels absolutely amazing. There's nobody that's gonna tell us that we need to leave. We can stay as long as we want. We can enjoy it.
And being here was like a proof that even in the most popular tourist destination of the Philippines, one can still find peace and calm. I really understand why people come to this beach. The vibe here is so much different. You get to swim, there's a small reef, the cliffs, and although it's a lot of work, then it's totally worth it. But if you don't want to spend half an hour on rough waves, I think there still is another way. So we're gonna make our way back to the town and try to show you the last option. How to enjoy El Nido without the huge crowds in a more relaxing way. And now for the last part of the video. The plan is to go and rent ourselves a motorbike. We want to visit the northern part of El Nido, like further away from the town itself. And you should note that everywhere we go now, you can also take a tuk-tuk from town if you don't want to drive yourself. But for us, it just seems a bit more fun and seems a bit more independent to go and get ourselves our own vehicle. The bike rental shops in El Nido are quite plentiful.
Sir, you're right, oh boy, always here is right side, huh? Right side.
And so, after a quick safety briefing,
Because before giving to the motorbike, I asking you know how to drive, you sure you know how to drive that one. If you not how to drive, I not giving to the motorbike.
Yeah.
For assure my safety guest.
fair enough, fair enough. And then we were ready to hit the road.
And off we go!
The traffic inside the town itself was quite rough. And at all times, we needed to be vigilant.
That was a bit scary when the big boys want to pass.
Yet not even 5 minutes outside the main population center. And suddenly, the whole atmosphere changed. Look at those cute rice paddocks. Cows, egrets. We were surrounded by green fields and small villages where families run small shops and businesses right next to the road. Two coconuts, yes. Ooh, perfect. One. Thank you, sir. He has the coconuts in the fridge, so they're cold. They cost less than €1, 50 pesos. So 2 of them were like €1.50. That's the good stuff.
So you actually are a basic white girl, eh?
Experience in this part of the culture was like a breath of fresh air. Drink and a meal for 50 pesos, that's a deal. Like a reminder that even behind the most popular tourist spots, there are thousands of kind locals that actually make this place feel special. Do you guys know what's the difference between a speed bump and a speed jump? It differs on how fast are you driving. Whoop. Whoop. But other than just the villages, there are also several beaches north of El Nido, and each one of them a little different from the next. And the closest one from El Nido is Leo Beach.
And this stop didn't come a second too soon. It's not an easy task trying to trust somebody with your whole life on the back of the bike. This one feels like a high-end resort beach where there's somebody that like rakes the sand all day every day and takes care of the plants and stuff, and you know, like really takes care of it.
We've made it to Nakban Beach, Nakban Twin Beaches. And it was out here that we started to understand the puzzle that is this region. We got palm trees, we got beach cafes. That's probably the place where people come to relax. There's hammocks that you can rent, I think. Look at that yin and yang. Even the stray dogs seem to be portraying the calm and balanced vibe. The shoreline in front of us was many kilometers long and had enough room for everyone.
This one here feels more like a place where you just come for the beach. So you go to the El Nido village to get all the tours and diving and island hopping and stuff. And here to just stay on a beautiful beach, swim, sunbathe, cocktail, stuff like this.
Amazing place for that. Yet, if you're into water sports or simply want to discover more of the quiet and relaxing side of Palawan Island, then driving further north will take you to Duli Beach.
Hey, Duli Beach, welcome.
A lot of surfboards.
This is the surf beach.
Yep, I see why the boards are here. The waves are huge. The place here seemed wild and rugged. And here there's even calmer. It was almost unbelievable that driving only 20 kilometers north from El Nido was enough to totally change our perception of the whole region. And what at first felt like a tourist trap, an overly crowded town where even walking on the streets was a stressful endeavor, had now turned into a tropical paradise with unique nature and kind culture that only Palawan in the Philippines can provide. Well, and from this beautiful beach we will end today's video. Yet before we go, there's one question that still remains.
What have we learned?
What have we learned today? First of all, we've learned that even in paradise, bad weather still exists.
We have also learned that words hurt. A tiny jellyfish hurts more.
But perhaps most importantly, we've realized that although there's a lot of people in El Nido, then there's still something for everyone. Friends, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you next time in a little bit less than a week.
Bye!
Bye!